In the meantime, let's go back to New York City. Want to get some updates on the case that is unfolding there regarding Sean Diddy Combs.
Kooky, and it seems like they're just leaning into it. Like there's no course correction at all. Just leaning into the kooky.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Sean Diddy Combs finds himself back in the spotlight, not for his music, business ventures, or legendary parties, but for a high-stakes courtroom battle that could define his future. His high-powered legal team is challenging the evidence against him, focusing on what they claim to be a critical procedural error by law enforcement, a potential game-changer that could secure his freedom and set a legal precedent. As the defense flips the script on prosecutors, the case raises pressing questions about the balance of power and justice, leaving everyone wondering whether the outcome will be determined by the law or the influence of a music mogul.
Exactly. You're just like, it's there. I mean, it's not just there. It's everywhere. My news feed is dominated by it. Fox News, CNN, everyone. There's raids at Diddy's house.
Sean Diddy Combs has been engulfed in a media firestorm for months, facing serious allegations that could not only dismantle his empire, but also land him in prison for decades. Arrested in September, his case has revealed increasingly disturbing claims, from secretive gatherings to accusations of witness tampering. The latest development centers on handwritten notes seized from his jail cell at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, which prosecutors describe as a smoking gun. These notes allegedly outline plans to pay off witnesses and direct family members to dig up damaging information on his accusers, painting a picture of obstruction and manipulation from behind bars. Assistant U.S. Attorney Christy Slavic has argued that these notes are critical evidence justifying Diddy's continued detention as prosecutors fight to keep him in custody until trial.
Well, I would imagine if you're the CIA, you're like, okay, we're looking for people who have gone through these things in their life that have curated this kind of like personality type.
Well, isn't it just like part of the gig? Like here's for instance, like your bit about Puffy.
Diddy's legal team, led by seasoned attorney Mark Agnifilo, is fiercely challenging the prosecution's claims, arguing that the seizure of the notes violated Diddy's constitutional rights and breached attorney-client privilege. Agnifilo asserts that the handwritten notes were part of privileged communications between Diddy and his legal team, containing defense strategies and private discussions that should have been off-limits to investigators. During a heated court hearing, Agnifilo emphatically stated, "No multi-agency law enforcement initiative justifies rifling through Mr. Combs' personal handwritten notes of conversations with his lawyers," dismissing the prosecutor's arguments as entirely lacking credibility.
At the courthouse in Lower Manhattan, the judge ordering the prosecution to turn over its findings from a jail cell raid, Diddy's jail cell, just yesterday. What were the contents of those raids?
Well, apparently, according to the defense, their legal documents, the government saying no, on the contrary, they're just some handwritten notes and a calendar.
The defense is not relying on mere rhetoric. They are building a robust argument that the raid violated Diddy's Fourth, Fifth, and Sixth Amendment rights, asserting that the search was unconstitutional and that the seized materials should never have been shared with prosecutors. Central to their claim is the allegation that the notes were obtained during what they describe as an institutional failure, a pretextual sweep masquerading as a routine search for contraband. Lead attorney Mark Agnifilo has demanded surveillance footage of the raid, suggesting that the operation was specifically targeted at Diddy rather than being part of a standard security measure.
I think it's over.
You think it's over?
I think it's over for him as like a figure in entertainment.
Right. But do you think it's over as him as far as like he gets a cell right next to R. Kelly?
I don't think so.
The defense's strategy is unmistakable: to undermine the prosecution's credibility by framing the seizure of the notes as a reckless and unlawful overreach. If successful, it could deliver a significant blow to the prosecution's case. Should the court determine that the notes were improperly obtained, prosecutors might be compelled to exclude them from evidence, potentially weakening their claims of obstruction and witness tampering. For Diddy, this could dramatically improve his chances of securing bail, or even lead to the dismissal of some charges altogether.
That's it. If it is privilege, of course they won't. But if it really is what the prosecution says, that has nothing to do with the case, or even worse, it's actually evidence of witness tampering, because we all know the attorney-client privilege, there's a crime fraud exception. You can't use your lawyer to perpetuate a future or continuing fraud or crime. So if the documents are what the government says they are, they're going to get them again. And again, it's just going to be a matter of days, because I don't expect.
The prosecution is holding firm, asserting that the search was conducted lawfully and that the notes are admissible evidence. Assistant U.S. Attorney Christy Slavic argued that the notes were obtained during a routine sweep by the Bureau of Prisons aimed at addressing contraband and substances within the facility. She emphasized that no member of the prosecution team was involved in or aware of the search, distancing herself and her colleagues from any allegations of misconduct. Slavic also rejected the defense's claims of attorney-client privilege, pointing out that the notes included to-do lists and other writings unrelated to legal advice. A witness being paid off and finding dirt on 2 different victims is not privileged, she told the court, reinforcing her argument that the notes reveal a deliberate attempt by Diddy to obstruct justice.
So there's a few things going on. First is the privilege issue. The judge will decide whether the documents are privileged or not. If they're not, they're going to go to the government. If the documents are not only not privileged, but they're evidence of witness tampering, then a few things can happen, all of which are bad for Sean Diddy Combs. First, of course, he did face obstruction of justice charges in a superseding indictment.
U.S. District Judge Arun Suberman, overseeing the case, has taken a cautious approach, ordering prosecutors to delete all copies of the notes for now, while keeping the original documents sealed until the issue of privilege is resolved. This decision leaves the notes in legal limbo, allowing both sides time to present their arguments. For the defense, it's a small victory that provides more time to argue the notes should never have been seized, while the prosecution faces a temporary setback, but one with potential lasting consequences if the court rules against them. This legal battle over the notes is only the latest twist in a case filled with surprises. Earlier, prosecutors accused Diddy of using his time in jail to launch a public relations campaign aimed at influencing potential jurors, alleging that he instructed his children to post a birthday video on social media, which they argued was a calculated attempt to sway public opinion. They also claimed Diddy made calls to potential witnesses, using other inmates' phone accounts to evade detection. These accusations, along with the notes found in his cell, depict Diddy as someone willing to manipulate the justice system to his advantage.
He doesn't kind of buy what the prosecution's selling. He thinks they've looked at the notes.
Yeah.
He thinks that they're cheating.
I mean, I would think that too.
But apparently what happened is commonplace.
Despite the damning allegations against him, Diddy's defense team has successfully kept the focus on what they view as flaws in the prosecution's case. Mark Agnafilo, leading the defense, has consistently argued that his client's rights were violated, accusing the government of overreach and misconduct at every turn. With the judge now closely examining the legality of the cell raid, the defense is hoping to shift the narrative away from Diddy's alleged actions and toward the government's handling of the case, aiming to turn the tide in their favor.
The 90s?
Music business? It's a lot of people.
It's not just the music business. It's the extortion business.
Well, yeah, I mean, the rap game was crazy. That's a thing a lot of people don't realize is like, back in the day, especially like early rap game, you weren't just going to play at, what's the random theater that you would play in LA?
It's a high-stakes gamble, but one that could pay off if the defense can convince the court that the prosecution's case is on shaky ground. The controversy surrounding the notes has already ignited a broader debate about the limits of law enforcement and the protections granted to defendants, especially those with the means to mount a strong defense. Critics of the prosecution argue that the raid on Diddy's cell raises serious ethical concerns about targeting high-profitable defendants, while supporters view it as a necessary action to ensure justice is served.
There's people on both sides, right? There's the people on the right that are trying to nail the people that are on the left with this. There's people that are journalists that are trying to nail the people that were involved in this.
This is it, yeah.
And they've managed to keep that list from coming out, which shows you how powerful certain people are. That should show you a lot. That should be.
As the courtroom drama unfolds, one thing is clear: both sides are determined to win and show no signs of backing down. For Diddy, the stakes couldn't be higher, with his reputation, fortune, and freedom all on the line. He has spared no expense in assembling a top-tier legal team to defend him. For prosecutors, this case represents an opportunity to hold a powerful figure accountable for what they claim is years of unchecked wrongdoing. It's a battle of titans, with the outcome poised to not only determine Diddy's future but also influence the broader conversation about justice and accountability, especially in cases involving the wealthy and influential.
That's what people are saying, and maybe everybody's a conspiracy theorist now, but that's what people are saying about the Diddy situation. Like when the feds rolled up, with the Hummers and shit, they're like, it wasn't about Diddy, it was about if there were tapes of powerful people there.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure.
They were the ones that called. They're like, I need to protect myself, so go in there with all the things and rip any tapes or any evidence.
The tension in the courtroom is palpable, with each argument, objection, and ruling carrying the weight of a trial that has captivated the public's attention. While the legal wrangling over the notes might seem like a procedural sidebar, it could ultimately prove to be a pivotal moment in a case that has already defied expectations. As the judge prepares to rule on the privilege issue, all eyes are on Diddy and his defense team, wondering if their latest strategy will tip the scales in their favor. Yet, as the legal drama unfolds, the shadow of the allegations remains ever present, continuing to overshadow the case. The questions surrounding Diddy's actions, along with the accounts of those who have come forward to accuse him, sit at the core of this saga, setting the stage for a trial that promises to be unlike any other.
Rumors are that Diddy was running some kind of Epstein-type deal where he was filming everybody, right?
That's the rumors. Yeah, I don't know that there's any proof or anything other than that.
The story of Sean Diddy Combs takes a darker turn as prosecutors describe what they call one of the most disturbing cases to rock the entertainment industry in years. While Diddy's legal team focuses on challenging notes and procedural violations, attention is increasingly turning to the core of the allegations against him. The image of Diddy, once hailed as the king of parties, the man who could turn any event into the most exclusive and talked-about gathering in Hollywood, is now being scrutinized in a completely different light. Those same high-profile events are being re-examined as the setting for a disturbing pattern of behavior that prosecutors and accusers argue went far beyond indulgence. What was once whispered about in industry circles is now being thrust into the public eye, and the revelations are nothing short of shocking.
Someone said that they weren't there to take stuff, they were there to delete everything. Like the real people that were in there, you know.
Oh,
like
that's
the same
funny.
thing with Epstein.
Oh, that's funny.
The story begins with the so-called break-offs, the name given to the private, late-night gatherings that reportedly followed Diddy's A-list parties. These events were legendary, shrouded in secrecy, and attended by some of the biggest names in Hollywood. Celebrities like Leonardo DiCaprio, Jennifer Lopez, Beyoncé, and Jay-Z have all been spotted at Diddy's high-profile parties over the years. However, according to court documents and witness statements, the real action didn't start until the red carpet was rolled up and the cameras were gone. Sources describe these after-house gatherings as a completely different kind of party, one where the rules didn't just bend, they vanished entirely. Attendees were reportedly handpicked by Diddy himself, and the guest list was kept so exclusive that even some of the most famous faces in the world were left wondering what truly transpired behind closed doors.
Of course. There's layers upon layers. When you get into these conspiracy theories, man, they never end. They never end. There's just layers upon layers.
What makes these allegations even more disturbing is the level of meticulous planning behind these events. Prosecutors claim that Diddy didn't simply throw parties, he orchestrated them, like high-budget productions, complete with assistants, security teams, and detailed instructions to ensure everything unfolded exactly as he intended. Witnesses have described hotel suites stocked with everything from luxurious decor to supplies that leave little to the imagination. While some guests may have attended just for the music and the ambiance, others allege they were pressured or manipulated into participating in activities they never consented to. These accusations have sparked outrage, especially considering the power dynamics at play. When someone as influential as Diddy invites you to a party, saying no isn't always as easy as it seems.
Well, if he really was filming everybody, I mean, he had a lot of people at those parties, right?
One of the most chilling aspects of this case is the sheer number of people who have come forward, each with their own story about what transpired at these gatherings. Attorney Tony Busby, who is representing over 120 individuals, has been outspoken about the breadth of the allegations. He has even sent demand letters to celebrities who attended these events, warning them that their silence could make them complicit. According to Busby, if you were there and you saw what was happening and didn't speak up, you're just as responsible as the people who orchestrated it. His statements have sent shockwaves through Hollywood, with many celebrities now rushing to distance themselves from Diddy and his notorious parties.
Everybody who tells the stories like, I saw I go upstairs and these dudes are like right on the couch.
Yeah.
And then I go in this room and these guys are It's
Yeah.
like,
And pros. Like, apparently he was getting male gigolos to girls.
girls.
Yeah, that was one of the rumors, like the
Male
freak off. So he would
gigolos.
hire the professional to have with the girls, and I think he would watch allegedly.
While some remain silent, others have started to share their experiences, some in support of the accusers and others to defend themselves. For instance, Ashton Kutcher has admitted to attending Diddy's parties in the past but insists he never witnessed anything inappropriate. "I've got a lot I can't tell," he said in an interview, adding, "I'm actually cycling through them Diddy party stories. Man, that was some weird memory lane. Similarly, Ice Cube made it clear during a recent concert that he had never attended one of Diddy's after-hours gatherings, stating, "You ain't gotta worry about us on those tapes." Meanwhile, others, like 50 Cent, have openly criticized Diddy's behavior, with the rapper stating, "I've been very vocal about not going to those kinds of parties. It's just an uncomfortable energy."
Caligula.
Okay, so then there's the question. It's like, can you take a completely normal person, give them power, and then they become that? Or does it take a power-hungry person that has this void that they need to be filled, that needs to be filled, and then when they are given that power, you see the worst version of them?
Ask your CIA boy. I bet he's got the answers. I bet he knows the exact formula.
To corrupting somebody
Yeah.
or to...
What happens? Like what happens to these people?
However, not everyone in Hollywood is rushing to clear their names. Some have chosen to remain tight-lipped, fueling further speculation about who knew what and when. Meanwhile, others have come forward with stories that seem to confirm the worst of the allegations. One particularly damning account comes from a woman named Tenna Wallace, who claims she was flown to one of Diddy's events by a Saudi businessman. According to Wallace, the party was unlike anything she had ever witnessed, with attendees engaging in activities that she found deeply disturbing. Her most shocking claim was that she saw individuals who appeared to be far too young to be at such an event, surrounded by adults in a setting she described as anything but appropriate. Wallace's testimony has been denied by Diddy's legal team, who have called her credibility into question and dismissed her claims as baseless. The allegations against Diddy have also brought renewed attention to other lawsuits and accusations that have surfaced over the years. One of the most notable cases involves Cassandra Ventura, better known as Cassie, who filed a civil suit against Diddy last year. In her lawsuit, Cassie alleges she endured years of emotional and physical abuse during her relationship with the music mogul. While Diddy initially denied the claims, a video later surfaced that appeared to show him physically attacking Cassie in a hotel hallway. The footage, which quickly went viral, has been described as a turning point in the case, giving other accusers the courage to come forward with their own stories.
Man, I ain't gonna lie.
Among the new accusers is Talia Graves, who claims she was restrained and assaulted by Diddy in the early 2000s. Graves alleges that Diddy recorded the encounter without her consent and later showed the footage to others, a claim his legal team has yet to publicly address. These allegations, along with the mounting evidence from other accusers, have painted a troubling picture of someone who allegedly used his wealth and influence to control and exploit those around him. While Diddy has pleaded not guilty to all charges, the sheer number of accusations has made it increasingly difficult for him to maintain his innocence in the court of public opinion.
Oh, man, I just had like a 3.5-hour cry.
What makes this case even more complex is the involvement of other celebrities, whether knowingly or unknowingly. Photos and videos have surfaced showing Diddy alongside some of the biggest names in Hollywood, from Usher to Kim Kardashian to Paris Hilton. While it's unclear how many of these individuals were aware of the allegations or involved in the events described, their association with Diddy has raised questions about the culture of silence that often surrounds powerful figures in the entertainment industry. As attorney Tony Busby pointed out, this isn't just about one man. This is about a system that allowed this kind of behavior to continue for years without anyone stepping in to stop it. The broader implications of this case are hard to ignore. For many, it serves as a dark reminder of the power imbalances that exist in industries like music and film, where success often hinges on who you know and what you're willing to tolerate. It also acts as a wake-up call for those who have turned a blind eye to the darker side of celebrity culture, focusing on the glitz and glamour while ignoring the harm that may have been caused along the way. For Diddy, it marks a moment of reckoning that could not only alter his life, but also impact the lives of those who have been affected by his alleged actions.
Far as, is he going to turn people in? Is he going to cooperate? If the federal government wants him to cooperate, and they're going to cut his time, because right now he's looking at 15 to life. With all the charges he had to. He won't get out till 70 years old. He about 70. That's when they start talking about letting him come to a halfway.
As the trial approaches, the stakes couldn't be higher. Diddy's legal team is working tirelessly to discredit the allegations and find weaknesses in the prosecution's case, while accusers and their attorneys are determined to see justice served. The world will be watching as this case unfolds, not only to determine whether Diddy is found guilty or innocent, but also to understand what it reveals about accountability, privilege, and the pursuit of justice in a world where fame and fortune often seem to outweigh the truth.
Responsibility for what he did as an individual. Sean is the one who pulled that gun out. Sean is the one who shot. So he has to take responsibility for that. He put that gun back in his...
Yet, even as the courtroom battle intensifies, the question remains, can Diddy truly escape the shadow of these allegations? Despite his wealth and influence, the tide of public opinion seems to be turning against him, with many former loyal fans now questioning the man behind the brand. Whether or not he is found guilty, the damage to his reputation may already be done, leaving a legacy far more complicated than the one he spent decades building. As the spotlight continues to shine on Diddy, one thing is clear. This is a story that goes far beyond one man. It's about power, accountability, and the people who are finally finding the courage to speak out. While the outcome of the trial remains uncertain, the impact of these revelations will likely be felt for years to come. So, what do you think? Is Diddy's latest legal maneuver a genius move or a desperate ploy? How much do you believe these allegations will affect his legacy in the music industry? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this unfolding drama. Until next time.